Hello there, my name's Andrew Castle. I used to play tennis, but now, like many others, I talk about it as a commentator. That's a lot easier. I'm outside number 34, Rue de France in Paris. Why? Well, it was in offices behind these rather grand doors that the forerunner to the ITF, the ILTF, the International Lawn Tennis Federation, was founded by 15 original members. A century of history, neatly encapsulated in this book, The International Tennis Federation, A Century of Contribution to Tennis. Your presence here may be said to be the consecration of the International Association, and the date of the 1st of March will remain a memorable one in the annals of lawn tennis. Those were the words of the ITF co-founder, Henri Wallet. By 1913, tennis was already thriving. The Davis Cup was established. Tennis had been part of the modern Olympics since 1896, and the recreational game was flourishing. The ITF was founded in order to guide and grow the sport, which is what it continues to do 100 years later. Editorial in the magazine World Sports in 1948 discussed the growth of the game. How has the game managed to spread in this phenomenal way without losing its individuality in a labyrinth of territorial differences and national customs? The answer is, of course, international cooperation in the administration of the game. One of the keys to the early and rapid growth of tennis was its presence in the first 7 modern Olympics. However, it was back here in Paris in 1924 that a fallout over the management of the event led to tennis being in the Olympic wilderness for the next 64 years. In the 1980s, the ITF lobbied hard for tennis to be reintroduced to the Olympic fold, initially as a demonstration sport in 1984, before a full-scale return 4 years later. The presence of professional athletes in the Olympics was still a contentious issue, but the ITF gradually cemented the sport's position, and a decade after its full introduction was able to persuade the IOC to promote tennis to a B-category sport. Discussions with the ATP and WTA resulted in the awarding of ranking points by 2004, while the ITF president went on to be elected a member of the IOC in 2006. And so to the London Olympics in 2012, when the sport returned to the All England Lawn Tennis Club, the venue for the 1908 Olympic tennis event. It was the most successful event yet. The men's competition saw a repeat of the Wimbledon final of a month earlier, but this time the result was reversed as Murray completed a convincing victory on home soil over Roger Federer. The USA enjoyed a fine Olympics with 2 gold medals for Serena Williams in singles and doubles, and a first gold medal for the Bryan brothers. The return of the mixed doubles to the Olympic program saw a popular victory for the Belarusian pair of Max Mirny and Victoria Azarenka. The Paralympics returned to its spiritual home as the first International Wheelchair Games was also held in London in 1948. The 2012 Paralympic tennis event was staged at a purpose-built stadium for the first time, the Eaton Manor venue in Olympic Park. Esther Vergeer continued her dominance of the sport with gold medals in the singles and doubles. Japan's Shingo Kunieda defended his men's singles title, while Israel's Noam Gershoni won quad singles gold. Wheelchair tennis has become one of the first sports to build on the London 2012 legacy with the staging of the NEC Wheelchair Masters at the new Olympic Park Tennis Centre from 2014. Wheelchair tennis became fully integrated within the ITF in 1998, making it the first disabled sport to achieve such a union at international level. Since then, the sport has been dominated by Vergeer, but in February, the Dutch woman announced her retirement after a 10-year unbeaten record.
It's going to be the last time, and it's a little weird, it's a little awkward to be here now knowing that this is going to be the last time, but maybe that makes it even more special.
The return of tennis to the Olympics in 1988 created another big growth wave, particularly in Eastern Europe and Asia, as national Olympic committees prioritised investment in the sport. The ITF Development Department has been at the forefront of the expansion of the sport through investment, education and innovation. The ITF Development Programme, in tandem with Olympic Solidarity, currently assists more than 100 developing nations. Since the formation of the Grand Slam Development Fund in 1986, over $80 million has been provided by the ITF and the Grand Slams to help develop the sport all over the world. Following the success of the Tennis Tens programme in more than 100 countries, the ITF launched Tennis Express for adults in November 2012 under the Tennis Play and Stay banner. Tennis Tens was also the focal point of the first ever World Tennis Day on the 4th of March, with 53 national associations taking part. Rafael Nadal and Serena Williams were two of the stars to take part in special events in New York and Hong Kong. The ITF has helped nations. It has also supported individuals. Victoria Azarenka's journey from 14 and under ITF junior circuit to world #1 and Olympic gold medalist is an inspiring story.
Greatest things as a junior you can be a part of. It's such an incredible opportunity for just to go on the road with different players, with different coaches, and experience all those tournaments in a row. You just get so much practice, so much new experience.
Establishing a uniform set of international rules was one of the main reasons for founding the ITF 100 years ago, and remains a core purpose of the federation today. A sport like tennis that requires rackets, balls and surfaces is going to be ripe for technical innovation. And with such comes a corresponding need to ensure that advances in equipment do not crush the natural human competitiveness of the sport. The ITF's Science and Technical Department and Technical Lab are there to ensure that this equilibrium is maintained. It is not just equipment that needs monitoring. The ITF continues to manage the Joint Tennis Anti-Doping Programme, which in 2013 announced the introduction of a biological passport as part of increased investment in this area. The ITF is equally vigilant in anti-corruption as a partner in the Tennis Integrity Unit charged with enforcing the sport's zero-tolerance policy towards gambling-related corruption worldwide. The other big driver of international growth in the game has been Davis Cup by BNP Paribas. Founded in 1900, the competition has grown from 2 nations to 130 nations in 2013. In 2012, we marked the 100th Davis Cup final, a fitting way to start the ITF's centenary celebrations. The final went to the deciding rubber, with the Czech Republic wresting the trophy from defending champion Spain in front of 14,000 fans in Prague. The 100th final also saw the launch of the Davis Cup Commitment Award, to recognise players who have shown long-standing dedication to representing their country.
I think ITF is doing a great job with Davis Cup and, trying to promote the game and get it more popular in some areas of the world where it's still not as popular as some other sports. So it's a very global sport, it's individual sport, so there's a lot of potential. We just need to get together and to work towards that goal.
Introduction of a women's-only team event by the ITF in 1963 was a bold move, coming 10 years before the founding of the WTA. Fed Cup by BNP Paribas celebrates its 50th anniversary in the ITF centenary year. In 2012, the Czech Republic retained the Fed Cup trophy by defeating first-time finalist Serbia in Prague to complete a great year for Czech tennis. 2013 is also the 5th year of the Fed Cup Heart Award, which recognises players that have represented their countries with distinction. This year, the ITF is also presenting replica trophies to those former champions who never received an individual trophy. Underpinning the international reach of the Davis Cup and Fed Cup, the ITF has continued to expand the playing opportunities at all levels of the game. The ITF has developed circuits for players of all ages, from 13 to 90, and for both abled and disabled players. In 2012, the ITF staged over 2,000 events across its 5 circuits. In 2013, the ITF is introducing live scoring on its websites for the junior, senior and pro circuits to help bring these events to a wider audience. Beach tennis has grown rapidly following its launch in 2008 and is seen as an important step in expanding the appeal and reach of the sport. In 2012, the first ever Beach Tennis World Team Championship was held in Moscow, which means that the ITF now organises Team World Championships at all levels of the game. One of these championships, the Hopman Cup mixed event, celebrated 25 years in 2013 in the new Perth Arena, with the Spanish emerging victorious. The annual ITF World Champions Dinner in Paris is a chance for the tennis family to recognise the achievements of the ITF champions in men's and women's singles and doubles, and for junior and wheelchair players. The Philippe Chatrier Award recognises outstanding contribution to the game by an individual or organisation. In 2013, the recipient was the All England Lawn Tennis Club, the host of the Wimbledon Championships, and in 2013, the host of the Olympic tennis event. So, a journey from Rue de Provence in Paris to the steps of the ITF's headquarters at the Bank of England Sports Ground in London. From 15 member nations to 210, from a sport that was the preserve of the few to one that encompasses all ages and abilities. From Olympic outcast to one of the most popular sports at the London 2012 Olympics. A centenary is a time to celebrate what has been achieved, to reflect on where we are and where we've come from, and to look to the future with renewed purpose and vigour. But it's also the story of an organisation and the dedicated people and staff who work within it. It's also your story, those of you in the regional and national associations who work together with the ITF to further the sport that we all love. The ITF, 100 years of contribution to tennis.